Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our CCA broadcast here on Splatoon Tourney. It's good to be back. My name is Falco Flyer. I will be your host, and we are so glad that you guys are here today for a wonderful Division 2 matchup between HSK Violet and TAMU Maroon. That's going to be University of Washington and Texas A&M. We have a wonderful match for you tonight. Again, Division 2, play all 7 for a gentleman's agreement. And let's toss it over to our casters today, Nito and Dark.
Thank you, Falco. Yes, as he said, it's going to be University of Washington and HSK Violet versus Texas A&M and their Maroon team showing off in a Division 2 showdown. Best place to start it is here on week 1. Dark, I mean, there's not much else we can say here. It's going to be something, we're going to figure out all we need to know about these teams right now.
Yeah, most definitely. Kick off the season. This is where some people get most of their tempo off of between this first match, you know? And of course, there is past results from both of these two teams. They have like a good, decent chunk of CCA history. But, you know, as colleges go, rosters tend to change from season on season, even semester on semester. So it's hard to say exactly what's going to be the big thing we're going to be looking out here. But I am very excited nonetheless of this matchup.
Jumping off of recent results, I'm looking at Texas A&M, who have gone to 11th place in the most recent entrance exam. They did lose to other Div 1 teams, mainly Big Fat Sea Cows and the UCF Knights. That's Central Florida right there. HSK Violet wasn't in the entrance exam, but did show up to the Division 1 finals during the CCA circuit. So certainly lots of experience between both of these teams, especially in Div 1, but with Division 2, these teams are now closer in skill to one another, so it's gonna be a close matchup in terms of skill, but ultimately it's gonna be that score that shows us what comes out of it, and what comes out of it's we're gonna see what comes out of it first here in Game 1. Splat Zones on Robo Ramen.
I love Robo Ramen. It's one of my favorite maps that Nintendo has put out for this game across all 3 games, and there's just so much you can do. There's a lot of open areas, open space, but it's not exactly oppressing in one way or another. And sure, it is kind of easy to get locked out of once you get past the opening bridge, pushing your enemies back into their spawn area, but a lot of people kind of forget about the left route going down and under on the bottom side of the map to actually break through and not force themselves through that bridge. It's just so well done. It's such an amazing map, and I'm so excited to see it here tonight.
Absolutely. I like to call it the Muscle Forge Fitness of Splatoon 3 because the layout's very similar. You're going to see more of this layout as we get things started. HSK Violet is going to be in the purple there. No, in the purple, and then it's TAMU Maroon in the orange. So I'm almost mixed myself up there, but we're going to get things started.
Most definitely, both these two teams are going out for a breakaway for the zone. See who can get that first capture. And already, a few interesting notes here. I see a Dread Ringer off of the side of Violets as they are already down for the count. TMU already getting that first opening pick, getting that first proper position, essentially with Tactical to being able to go on the offensive here and already taking the rest of Violet's team out immediately.
Okay, looking at their comps, I see how the notes they sent us are starting to come into fruition. They want to keep HSK Violet on their toes, and Texas A&M has the right comp to do it. They have a 10 roller, or sorry, they have a 10. They have dualies on their side. They have the Carbon Roller Deco, and that's certainly going to keep them on their toes there, especially when you don't know which one's skirmishing, which one's fighting. As we see a T-Tech there actually from Texas A&M take a first pick on his own. HSK Violet might be able to retake here, but doesn't do so. TMU Maroon still holds on.
Yeah, a good hold from A&M as they're still fighting out for this zone here, making sure that they don't lose that control here once again. But one does go down from A&M, meaning Violet has the chance to go in with the reslider, create the space, get the zone, and push A&M back, but not without losing a few of their own members as they're now 2 down. Violet and now 1 player down. Unfortunately, losing out to this duel here as the Headed and the Dapple Dualies has the backup to try this fight, but the Inkjet gets popped to try and create some more space, and what a beautiful direct as they're fighting out here once again, slowly taking away some more points. 2 down for A&M is not looking good for them here.
Oh my goodness, it looks like HSK Violet has Texas A&M on their toes instead. I mean, looking at Maroon, it seems like it's all they can do is just play off of one another, play 2v2s, but it's not like they're playing 2v1s, but it's not like they're doing it on the offensive side either. Look at how far up the Violet team is. Look at how far up Washington is on this retake here. Texas A&M will eventually get it back, but it looks like Maroon has themselves one step ahead on every interaction here.
Most definitely. And them now trying to be the ones to put Violet back as best they can, losing one of their own players, two of their players down. That good hold that could have been is now good as gone at this point as another 3 goes down. That's a actual wipeout for A&M. Washington is able to come in, take the zone without any issues, and already looking to try and push back A&M as they're coming in here. Maroon looking to try and see and wait out this tactical or wait out the Ingzuka before they probably get a committal push going, and they luckily do wait it out as they're getting their own specials ready, trying to initiate with their own cooler and try strikes.
It almost seems like, it almost seems contradictory. You do want to play this game with patience, and that's what Violet's doing so well. They just canceled a reslider. They would have almost certainly gotten a few picks there, but Violet doing so well, holding themselves back and letting Maroon take all the risks here, take all of the advantages, because they know they'll still be able to come up with something here. But it's not this time, as Maroon goes Violet goes 3 players down. Texas A&M now holding the advantage. I want to see what they're able to do with this here. They're in a much better position now.
Yeah, the tides are definitely shifting here. 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining, and their penalty points are good as gone at this point. And especially with Cooler online, they could actually go on the offensive here without too many repercussions here. They do manage to get 1 pick from A&M, but Violet gets their trade-off in return, coming in with their own reslider. They don't quite get the zone flip, but they do get 3 down. That's a delayed wipeout. Violet is able to take control of the zone without any issues here. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. It is neck and neck, a 5-point differential. Things can still swing either way.
No lead for Texas A&M. Washington has 2 things to look forward to here. They keep the lead for the time being, and they also have another excellent duo here in the Dreadringer and the Pencil. But now Texas A&M still doing very well in these retakes here. The problem it's been for them so far is holding on to it, especially when they lose players like that to a bomb. 1 minute to go, and Texas A&M needs to hold on for dear life, but they're having so many problems doing so, especially when they have a delayed triple against them like that.
Oh, and I think the lead might get swapped here just in the nick of time. 45 seconds remaining. Things are going to be looking really tight here and crucial picks here. Whoever loses next team fight might be able to take away this game as A&M and Washington State are just going at each other. Bloodbath on the zone, but Washington does manage to get this zone captured right in the nick of time. They could potentially try and write this out in an overtime scenario, but A&M is not going to make it easy on them as they're already coming in with their own tactical or with their own players launching in. Reslider comes out to try and create the space, but no, Violet loses that too!
Where's the pitches I was talking about earlier? It seems like Violet there was trying to go for whatever it took to try to retake this zone, and it's not working out so well for them. All Texas A&M needs to do is hold on here, and they're holding on very well. 3 seconds to go. Nobody challenging the zone. Texas A&M takes game 1. Oh, okay. That is one heck of a way to start the season. One heck of a game to start the season.
Yeah, a very back and forth fight there, and even though the first half was kind of in Violet's favor, A&M here at the end really did just kind of lock in and were able to just get their act together and just steal this win away here. Both these teams did extraordinarily well on this first game of 7, by the way. So we're in for one heck of a ride if the rating of this set is going to go like this.
So at some point throughout this match, the patience I was talking about from Washington, HSK Violet, turned into desperation. And I saw that mainly with that reslider that came out on the replay that you're seeing here. It almost seemed like they were doing so well coordinating themselves. They played 2v1s beautifully, especially with the Pencil and Dreadringer, and especially with their specials here too. But then Texas A&M knows that all they need to do here is just hold on, because I think at some point either they picked it up or Violet was just playing a little too aggressive for their own good, to where all of a sudden all Texas A&M need to do is keep finding picks, and there you go, you've locked in the game.
Yeah, it definitely was. I think some of that might have just gone to the last last minute a minute and a half pressure that kind of builds up towards most players for these games. But we're just exactly how things might be adjusted here as we head into our second game, Humpback Pump Track. I love watching this map specifically because it is one of the rattiest maps in Splatoon history. There's so many nooks and crannies and ledges that you could just, and if you play a blaster, if you play a brush or a roller or a bucket, you really like this map here, and I wouldn't be super surprised if I don't see any of those here.
So I played this map list with Green Coin yesterday. I could tell you are very true, because everything you say here is very true, because I was playing with a splash that was being as ratty as all heck, and seeing what Texas A&M brought out in the first map. I mean, they brought out a carbon roller. They brought out a Tetra Dualies. I mean, this is what Texas A&M wants. This is looking perfect for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a very good. You get the first game and you have a favorable second game. You're kind of getting kind of comfortable here, but this is also could be the opportunity for HSK Violet to just pull out something completely new and just sideswipe Maroon off of the side without any knowledge of something that can play here. They might go a completely different weapon comp for all I know here heading into this second game.
Absolutely, you did have some swap outs happening, and from at least from Washington's side, they will have one player swap in, and we'll see that later on or as the game starts. But with both teams, and especially with tower control, I think tower control is a great mode for patience, and I think that's one thing HSK Violet was doing so well in the first 4 minutes of the game. That game was won within the first minute, as we saw by A&M. So we're gonna see how this translates into this next match. Brand coming in for Juani from the side of Violet. Texas A&M remaining unchanged here, at least with the comps too.
Yeah, and sticking with a relatively similar comp. I think the only real change is the T-Tech swapping in for the V-Shop. Over on Violet's side, we do see the Ely there and the NZEP and the V-Bucket coming in. So a completely different playstyle potentially here from their side. And there it's already looking like it might be proving well here as they're 3 down A&M already, as HSK Violet already pushing into that first checkpoint.
Well, that's different. I mean, we've got ratty weapons here. Let's be honest. We have a Tetris. We have the carbon roller. And that's what you expect to see from that carbon roller. But Violet just shuts it down so well. This is the patience we saw in the first 4 minutes of the previous match. And that's more of the patience we need to see as we go later on into this game. But we see 3 players go down. As I say that, Ely is the only one left. At least gets 1 pick from that. But Violet needs to keep on that patience, because that's what Maroon wins on. Is just making sure you're always on your toes and you're always answering.
And especially with Tacticaler here for Maroon, it gives them the opportunity just to absolutely go in forward without any danger sense whatsoever. Violet is able to repeal some of that offensive pressure, though, as they manage to hold onto this tower long enough for it to start to go into a proper reset. But it's a bloodbath here on this on elbow from both sides, just constant back and forth trading between these two teams. I mean, there's not going to be much progress made here on this game so far. Only that first checkpoint got taken by HSK side, so A&M has to make something happen here if they want to get some points on the board that contest that lead. But no, once again, they're a few players short, and HSK just holds onto this side very strongly.
It's almost like both teams are looking at each other and saying, all right, you flank first. No, you flank first. You flank first. That's what I'm seeing. I mean, both of these teams have at least one player off to the side, to where we're just waiting for a flank to happen from either team, and all of a sudden we don't have enough for a big push. But it looks like that's changing right now. HSK Violet will head towards this second checkpoint with at least 3 players on the tower. 1 on the Jet. Could be able to help here as that Jet comes back. There's 2 players down for HSK Violet, and Killer's second checkpoint. But my goodness, this is what we've been looking for here, and this is the rattiness I'm actually looking for here. You see the ends up on the right side there.
There's so many angles you have to watch as you approach that 3rd checkpoint. HSK now potentially snowballing this game, and I want to say this right here, right now, while I still have the chance. Wavebreaker on this map is deceptively lethal here because of the map geometry. It can hold on to a very large portion of the map without you even realizing it. So I'm very happy to see it here. It's actually proving some worth here for HSK, as they're just still able to keep that tower in place, not letting A&M any closer to that tower before it has to finally reset set naturally here from the tower. Both these teams wanting to hold on to mid. 1-for-1 trade from A&M and Violet before Violet does get the player advantage here, trying to make sure they can properly hold on to this mid. But the Reef Side goes in deep, gets one player, and they do not get out of there.
Okay, I think Texas A&M has a focus on picks here. I'm just going to be honest, because I'm seeing so many picks coming out from A&M to where all HSK needs to do is let one player make the mistake that we saw the Tetris go for that one Reef Slider attack on one player of HSK Violet. All of a sudden, they don't have that special they can work with, and that means there's less for Maroon to look forward to. Here's the carbon roller, by the way. As I'm talking about that, there is a flank we're seeing from both teams. This one might be more deadly than before, but we see both of these teams trade off. I mean, this has become a bloodbath in mid, and it's a wonder that we actually got Violet up this far because of how much both of these teams are trading off blows as we head into this final minute.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the game, if it stays a stalemate for the remainder of this game, Violet is completely okay with this. They have such a huge lead here, and honestly, they're just kind of wasting time for A&M as they're barely able to finally take control of the tower without not losing their own few players here. They do have tactical at the ready there, so those few deaths from A&M's side don't mean too much here on this final 50 seconds, but it does add stress to the situation as there's a whopping 50-point differential between, I can do math for, I'm not here for math, I'm here for the game, and this, just what you need to know is there's a lot of points between these two teams, and we're only 30 seconds away from the end.
Exactly. I mean, we're 30 seconds away, and now Texas A&M is on the back half of this. They need to find something. They need to find something fast. They have two specials here. Things are looking perfect for them. If they can manage to work with these specials, they do at least take out the zap, and that's going to be good because now there's less time. There's more time to wait for that cooler. So this is what Maroon wants. Remember, they won in the last minute of the previous match. Can they do it again? We just saw one player go down to the E leader, and now it's going to be a little skirmish there. I'm not sure it's enough for Texas A&M. We're going to see very soon here.
Oh, the GG Strikes comes out, the fabled GG Strikes, but they're wiped out from matches. HSK is just able to completely nullify that potential just last-minute scramble onto tower to make this game into overtime. That was the most, I think, sloppiest but most beautifully chaotic last 30 seconds I've ever seen in this game.
Wow, and that's interesting considering tower control is one of the more boring modes to look at. I mean, I'm thinking this whole time, HSK Violet got the big push at the beginning. It's over whether you like it or not. Texas A&M comes in and says, you know what? No, it's not actually. We have everyone everywhere, and we're going to cover all the bases that HSK Violet can cover. All of a sudden, E-Leader hits you once. That's big because now you lose Cooler. And now there's just nothing there for A&M. It doesn't look like they have a cohesive push here. It just looks like they're hanging on to this tower for dear life. All of a sudden, here comes the strikes. And now we're trying to scramble to try to get back to it. HSK Violet knew that, and honestly, this goes for any team that gets a push beyond 20 remaining within the first minute and 30 seconds of the game knows that they just need to sit back, relax, and just see what the other team comes up with because that tower moves slow. This is the #1 game for patience and the #1 most boring game mode.
I mean, yeah, I genuinely could have said it better. That he's such a huge lead there is that it's very hard to recover from, especially from passing that area from first checkpoint to second checkpoint. It's such a hard thing to properly push through because of how closed off it is and how claustrophobic it can be. The right specials and the right weapons can really just make it such a nightmare to push through. That the fact that HSK was able to push through that on their pretty much virtually first push was really commendable, and it just kind of set themselves up for the remainder of this game. But both these two teams are now sitting at 1 point apiece in a game of 7, best of 7, first to 5. We're seeing exactly who can be coming out on top at the end of this set here as we head into Scorch Gorge Rainmaker.
All right, so we going from the #1 most boring game mode to I think one of the most interesting because all of a sudden a 20 remaining push could mean nothing on Rainmaker. I've seen teams go from, and this isn't just solo queue, I've seen it in competitive Splatoon where a team will go up to 1 remaining and still lose. So now there's more volatility in this, and considering what HSK Violet has, and actually even the layout of this one, this could still work well in their favor as we actually get a live look at to our partners at CCA Splatoon, the the main Twitch account here, as we're looking into a Div 3 matchup between University of Tennessee Knoxville against Fanshawe College in Canada.
Ooh, and it's gonna be a bit of a close one here. 2 minutes already in the game, and there's a relatively dent to these scores. Neither of them are sitting at over 90. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a very exciting game to try and see at the very least. And if you're still here with us, and do keep in mind that you can also catch those VODs, I believe, on our CCA Twitch channel or YouTube after the fact and see exactly how that game's gonna end. But man, oh man, as a little bit of an additional segue, there's multiple other live streams going on right now. As we just see here, the CCA main channel has their stream going on right now with that match we just see. But over at our folks at IPL are also streaming yet another CCA match. Of course, here at Split Tourney and IPL, they only have one match slated for the day. But the fact that we have 3 games going on at once, you can't get enough action here.
Yeah, it's this partnership we have between both Splatoon 30 and IPL is huge, just because of the amount of games that we could get all in 1 hour too. So, but of course, this is the best one, and if you're on the best, if you're on the best game, then you are one of the better fans. Okay, I guess I can't say that, but game's me, Scorch Rainmaker. I've said all I've had to say. Is there anything you want to see heading into this matchup, or anything you might expect?
Well, I will say that Scorch, my personal bias aside, Scorch, the main thing that most people have to really look out for is pushing that ramp heading into that first checkpoint. That ramp is such a crucial place to take a hold of and defend or attack, depending on which side you're on. That how you play around that ramp and how you just go around and like either attacking or actually defending from it is really going to dictate your success here for the majority of this game. If you have a weak defense but a really strong offense, if the other team gets to attacking you first and you're having to force to hold that, you just kind of just crumble away at that, because it's such a, once the enemy team gets a hold of it, it becomes really hard to try and take back here. And I'm eager to see exactly what these two teams are going to be going out to try and hold on to these ramps here, as we do see another team comp change up from HSK Violet.
Okay, this is interesting. So I think we've actually traded out the Charger for the Nautilus, which is interesting. I didn't think you'd want to go closer range, especially with how excellent that sniper was doing in the previous game. And we see that 3 players going down. I mean, this is now all of a sudden Texas A&M looking like they're on the top here, but we are starting to see. I don't know. This is a new changeup that I wasn't expecting. Texas A&M is now looking like they're going to be the more patient team, actually. Now that we have this changeup and now that we're seeing how they're playing here, they're relaxed on this push. They're not waiting for, or they're not trying to make these pushes happen. They're just waiting to see what comes up to them.
And most definitely, man. It seemed like a bit of a weak hold at first there, but I believe someone from HSK's Violet side had a long range special. I want to say Ingzuka had to use to take down this Rainmaker from such a far distance, because they were nowhere near that Rainmaker whenever it fell. And now A&M is at the defense at this time. They're looking to see exactly what to be playing next from HSK to see exactly what the game plan is going to be. But the Rainmaker does reset, and with 2 down, they're forced to respect that play here from A&M. And with Tactical Online is now going to be their turn to go on the offensive here to try and push out the remaining members from Violet, especially as they get the Rainmaker pop with the tire strikes coming out. It's going to be just an utter chaotic mess here.
Wow, that was an unfortunate place to be popping those. And now it is only 1 player left on Texas A&M to take this. This is a different game to what I saw in the previous one, actually, because of how fast everything happens. All of a sudden, I was going to talk about how we just keep trading blows everywhere, and all of a sudden, no push is able to happen. But now we see something like this happen, and now there's only 6 seconds left for this Rainmaker to push in. But that just goes to show you how volatile this game mode can be. You can have all the picks in the world, and then all of a sudden, you lose 3 players like that because you don't have enough time to push it forward, and you're stuck at 81 remaining.
That is the downside of picking up that Rainmaker a little bit too early. If they had waited just a few extra seconds, they most definitely would have been able to take that Rainmaker to the podium and get that first checkpoint knocked out. But no, they're sitting at 81 points remaining. HSK is back and mid once again to contest A&M as they get 1-for-1 traded out here, and another one going down for Violet means that's going to be a neutral game here in mid, as they have tactical already. They're going to be the first ones to properly regroup and fight back here as they're popping their own specials, getting ready for their own push to potentially get some own points on their side.
All right, this is what I want to see from HSK Violet too, is that they're doing very well coordinating these specials and telling them when they need to pop. They're actually popping them in a staggered motion, which you've seen with a lot of competitive teams. The problem is you don't know where they're being positioned, and that almost hinders them to some degree. But as I say that, they do get the lead there, but it looks like with HSK Violet, all they want to do is force TAMU Maroon into some scary spots here, which they're actually doing there. They force the Inkzuka to come out from Maroon and actually have another chance at the pedestal, and they do get it. So this is what Violet, maybe it's part of the plan, maybe not, but it's actually working for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just a textbook case of like controlled chaos. You go in, rushing the Rainmaker a little bit, just inch it a little bit forward to get your enemy's teams worried and stressing about watching the Rainmaker, where you just come in from out of nowhere, taking out the rest of the remaining team and being able to knock it out here. And man, oh man, it's working out for them. They were able to get that down to 50 points remaining from HSK's sides, but now with a wipeout, A&M's be the one who picks up the Rainmaker and gonna be looking to try and get their own podium dunk finally here as we head into the final minute of this game.
And now Texas A&M knows they can't be waiting around here. They are at the last minute of the game, and this is when you start to see the desperation come out from these teams. We may start to see more of it here. Koi actually going up there with the Carbon Roller, doing what Carbon Roller does best, but all of a sudden, the Rainmaker's down. No one's there to help down Rainmaker from Texas A&M. That's going to shut down that push, and that means Violet has another opportunity to just keep overwhelming them with specials like you see here. There's already the rain's already starting to come out, but they do go 2 players down as I say that, so maybe A&M still has something they can look forward to here.
Yeah, there's been a lot of back and forth between these two teams, between these last 3 sets. But the thing to note is that HSK has kind of been on the more advantageous side of these back and forths. They're able the ones to get such a decent amount of lead, and now 15 seconds remaining. The Rainmakers in the hands of A&M means that if this does go into overtime, they're going to be only having about 30 seconds left here. And it's going to be a diving attempt to get that Rainmaker out of their hands before we hit that timer 0. And they do manage to pop it out of 0 before we hit that final countdown. And with that being said, they do take this game.
Okay. Well, this is I don't know. I think controlled chaos is the right word here because of like how much of it happened between the 2 pedestals to the point where getting 1 pedestal was all we needed for the lead, and that's all that Violet needed to win. But it's funny because with how many picks were going back and forth between both teams, I almost expected this to be a much higher scoring game than I saw. But then Texas A&M kind of just like sending their Carbon Roller forward. They don't really have anything to back it up with, which would have been, you usually see the Tetra dualies come out with the Carbon Roller here, but unfortunately Texas A&M doesn't have that cohesiveness there. All of a sudden HSK Violet takes advantage of it. They do have that jet there. They do have someone else looking on the other side of this Reef Slider. It's still not enough. HSK wins this. Texas A&M loses that push there.
Yeah, I think that Reef Slider popped as soon as the Rainmaker got dropped there at the end was such an unfortunate timing. If the Rainmaker got dropped just a little bit sooner, I'm pretty sure that Reef Slider would have been used on to get that Rainmaker pop instantly back again so they can at least go into overtime and play the remainder of that set out. But man, HSK Violet is now really starting to build up their momentum here, taking 2 games back-to-back against A&M. We're heading to game number 4, Hammerhead Bridge Clam Blitz. I'm eager to see how these 2 teams will be playing here, because I don't believe we see this game. This map will get played a lot.
No, the truth is you don't see it that much in conventional competitive Splatoon. And with Clam's Hammerhead, it's really interesting because it's I've heard one person describe it as a Splatoon 3 walleye warehouse, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since. It's very similar. The only difference is that it is somewhat wider, and the clam basket is off to your right. But in all honesty, it's very similar to what you saw in walleye warehouse. So it's interesting. Clam Blitz matches here are won basically with the same way tower control matches are, I believe, because of how lockout heavy it can be. If you just prevent the enemy team from getting anywhere near this basket, or if you just like sit yourself down in mid and prevent any flanks, which I mean the flanks can only really come from like left mid, right mid. If you can prevent that, all of a sudden you can basically win the game.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned comparing this to Walleye Warehouse and mentioning the Clan Business Basket. Whenever this Hammerhead Bridge was last in the game, it was also in Splatoon 1 with Walleye Warehouse, but also Clan Bits wasn't a thing back then. It was only a thing in Splatoon 2 and onwards. So this is thankfully the first time we've seen Clan Bits on Hammerhead Bridge, and that's just the end of that thought. In all honesty, I just find it a neat, funny little fact there. But yeah, this is a very just most of the time your enemies are going to be in front of you no matter what. I think there is the box on the right hand side to try and flank, but it's such like not a good flank that there really isn't much worth and much use in using it unless you're like just a something like a Ninja Squid, Carbon Roller, or something along the likes, but I'm eager to see exactly what kind of changes these two teams are going to be bringing here as we head into game number 4.
Okay, yeah, no, the Brella is going to stay. I think the Brella is an excellent pick here with the shape of Hammerhead. I mean, just look at it. And then you also got the E-Leader coming out, which is, again, no surprise. This E-Leader did very well for them in the second match. So bring it back. Let's see what happens. I mean, they did pretty well in the Tower Control match, and I think this is going to be pretty similar to what we saw in that Tower Control match. But let's go ahead and see what comes up here in Game 4.
And already both these teams are fighting out Mitch, trying to get that early advantage off of the other. Clam Colony favoring A&M right now as they do just have a whopping 3 extra clams on their side, but never mind, whopping 1 extra, never mind. The clan economy is in fluctuation as most economies are, as now HSK is already ripping off these specials. Tacticooler, Inkjet, Rainstorm. It's such a cacophony of specials that they're already trying to force A&M's hand, pushing them back further bit by bit.
See, I'm almost scared that someone's going to go out with that bomb because of how many picks we're seeing in mid already. Again, this is the humpback tower match that we're seeing right now. We've gone down through a minute of this match. We haven't seen one score yet. I think Clams on Hammerhead is going to be similar to what you see in Tower Control. It's a game of patience. It's a game of making sure the other team just doesn't go past mid. But as we say I mean, just look at it. We got one player just standing on their own here. And now, as long as you can do that, you may just be able to win the match. Yeah! Go!
That's a fumble from HSK! Not being able to score that clam as the Ambient just plants their feet on the ground and just says no!
Welcome to Clam Blitz Hammerhead, where all of it means nothing as long as you have that head standing on in front of the basket. This is what I love about Hammerhead, is that it's volatile and it's almost boring at the same time, because it's boring to score and it's still volatile in that this push can be nothing. I mean, we see TAMU Maroon here have some specials. They do have this Reef Slider. They do at least score the points here, but now you have someone coming in from the other side who may as well be able to prevent this push here. I mean, there's a lot that goes on, but it also looks like there's nothing going on since we only got to like 71 remaining right now.
Yeah, 31 remaining on that first initial push. It's not much in Clansbit's turns, but if this game does turn out to be a stalemate for the majority of it, that 31 points is huge for A&M, as they are going to be able to try and just run this clock out. But no, A&M's going to keep this pressure going as best they can. They already have a power clamp in their hands, but they're down 2 players, so they might have to just respect the pressure from HSK as they're coming in and going in with a regroup here, trying to build their specials, just push them back even further, coming out with the wave breaker to just make sure that they cannot just be hiding anywhere, locating all the potential threats here. The Carbon Roller is spotted immediately and taken down almost with the same efficiency. And then now they're popping the Inkjet, the Tri-Strikes from A&M's trying to hold the comms as best they can. But now, once again, there's so much going on from both these two teams. It's so hard to keep track of what exactly is happening.
You almost lose track of who's on what side with how much is going on. I mean, we see 4 people on the side of HSK, literal side of HSK Violet, but that's going to change in a while. And as soon as this Brella goes into mid or dies instantly like that. But, I mean, this is what we talk about. I mean, the more picks that get exchanged here, the less, or it looks like the more is supposed to happen, but it actually looks like less happens because of how many people you already have near this clan basket. I think it's a game of not only being fast, but being overwhelming, as we see here with the specials and the picks that are coming out from HSK Violet. At least we're heading into this last minute.
Ooh, ooh, this E-leader may be the one to save the game for HSK Violet, though, as now A&M's 3 down. They have a minute remaining in this game, and things can definitely spiral out of control. That 30-point lead, like I mentioned earlier, is not a big thing if it's a volatile game, so things can definitely shift and HSK's Violet's turn here as we do get that 1 minute warning. Social being used as the right tactical and they're ready for Violet as they're looking to try and use the best of their ability. They go down with a 1-for-1 trade from the E-leader here as well. The teams are still dueling it out here in mid, but Inkjet comes out to hopefully just hold on whatever ground they can. Unfortunately, does get traded out once again, and with the jump in here, that could be a potential another player going out, and to have another opportunity to potentially push up here.
That's what they need. They need that carbon roller to be overwhelming here. That's what's going to help them possibly lock in this matchup. The question is, do they have enough to maintain these pushes? Because we see one player going all the way to that left side of HSK Violet, and now there's nobody to follow up with. There's 20 seconds left on the clock, and as long as Violet has a power clamp to respond with, this could be theirs. But Texas A&M doing so well to overwhelm Violet. We'll see how this works with 10 seconds to go.
Inkjet Direct is a good start here. Restart used to just make sure no one's on that stairway there, but no, they do manage to get the player advantage here to potentially go into a push here. Overtime being unlocked, and so it's going to be a fight to whoever can get those last few extra coins in. The jump in comes in, and it takes the lead, and they manage to win it in the nick of time.
Oh man, Clamblitz on a Hammerhead Bridge is almost the exact same as the first two matches as we saw. One within the last minute of the game. And it's all because of how overwhelming you can be. That's with Clam's Hammerhead, it's so unique because it's not like any other Clamblitz match. The shape of it just prevents you from being too fast, but you still need to be overwhelming, and that's what Violet did, especially at the end there. I mean, there was already a few players going down for the side at TAMU Maroon. They lose this free slider. It gets popped, or the Tetras go down. Actually, the Tetras go down here, not say ET type, but we see that reslider come out. Nobody's there to follow up on it. There's 3 players on it. All of a sudden, HSK Violet, huge in numbers. They need to do is pick up this one power clamp, get the power clamp in the basket. There's already picks coming out, funny enough, just as soon as that power clamp goes in. All of it requires just making it in, but HSK Violet overwhelming at the right place and at the right time.
Oh man, that really is that's a buzzer beater victory there if I've ever seen one. Now 3 back-to-back wins. HSK Violet is definitely starting to build up that momentum here. As Texas A&M Maroon, they're starting to struggle a little bit. They did have a good showing that last game, but they kind of folded under pressure as that timer got close to 0 here. So now Shipshake Cargo Company's last notes. Can they keep up? Can they keep their cool here as they're now starting to get closer and closer to that match point, or will they fall once again to Violet?
And it is his match point for HSK Violet, like you said. We're going back to Splat Zones, a game where actually Texas A&M last won. So it's weird because now it's a mode where you already know you can do very well, and it's a mode where you actually caught HSK Violet. You caught them on the wrong foot a few times. So this is something where they have to have a little more confidence in, and at least look towards this for a future reverse sweep. But the thing with Texas A&M is that they are almost playing a little too aggressive. There's nothing to follow up with that carbon roller. There's nothing to follow up with the Tetris dualies, popping, reef slider. That's all they need, is just having those two work with each other, and all of a sudden this can be so well for them, especially on a map mode like this where it's not quite as lockout heavy as some of the other maps on this game, but a lockout here means more, not just because of the map, but because of the mode they're also playing on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. The lockouts here on this map specifically can be brutal, so you gotta make sure you're on top of everything. It's so easy for the enemy team just to be able to just say no, you don't get to play anymore once they get properly set up. And with how HSK Violet has been playing these last 2 games, if they can get properly set up and they can just utterly deny A&M any playtime here. And so it's really up to A&M to be asking themselves, like, what can we be bringing here on this next game to try and fight back a bit better here? There's something that Violet's doing that's clearly working better than what we've been trying. So do we need something like a new weapon lineup? Do we just need more confidence in what we're doing? Like, what's that game plan? And that's like the question they're gonna be asking here as we head into this match point here in just a few moments.
And it's almost unsurprising that I'm seeing this sort of delay in what both of these teams are planning to pick out, because I don't know, Texas A&M is sort of an uncharted territory here. I mean, they've been doing so well in the offseason that they show up here and now it's like, oh, okay, all of a sudden we're on the back foot. We are on match point against a team that hasn't seen competitive play since like the CCA circuit. So now we're on the back foot. What do we do here? We gotta see what we come up with here as we get into game 5. Seeing what both of these teams bring out. There's a pencil now and a splash as well. Major changes on the side of Violet. And TAMU Maroon brings out the the tri-stringer actually.
That's interesting. An interesting pick. I like tri-stringer, so I'm always happy to see it played whenever, but I did not expect it to be played here. But you know what? As a wise man once said, let them cook. And I'm very eager to see exactly what that's going to be cooking up here from A&M side. They're already contesting this zone pretty well, as they do believe. I swear I saw the Reef Slider come in, but no, it doesn't matter if the Reef Slider came in or not. With a wipeout from HSK's side, means A&M is going to be able to just run up and get ready for their own lockout here.
This is what I'm looking for. That Carbon Roller doing so well, and everyone's painting the zone already. So this Carbon Roller is allowed to come in and wreak havoc. It's almost surprised that Zuka just barely missed out on those picks there. But this is what they need to do more. They need to enable this Carbon Roller to go out and do more against Violet. Keep them on their toes. Keep them under pressure, just like it's doing right now, actually, under that ledge. But they do go down. HSK Violet now looking for a way back in. They still haven't found a way back in. They do have a few more specials there, though. They should be using it soon, because this is a team that's been playing so patient, so well within the last 3 matches, but they still can't get control of the zone here.
Yeah, a bit slow on the retake here from HSK. They're just A&M's kill still taking away with a good chunk of points, taking it all the way down to 28 remaining. 72 off of a single hold is very, very good here. And so if A&M is able to get another advantage here like they are right now, getting 2 down before that tactical can actually be used by those players, means that they can just keep this pressure going against HSK and just keep them locked out once again.
And that is what we're looking for. This is, look at how far the Carbon Roller is. This is perfect for the Carbon Roller, and this is perfect for Texas A&M, because all they need to do is keep that Carbon Roller up, and all you need to do is sit back and watch the zone, as we're seeing come out from this side here. Oh, that was a close pick there from the Zuka, and this is what the Zuka needs. That's why the Carbon Roller does so well with its kit. You can attack well from far, attack well from close, and this is why you also have the Jet from Violet. How well it can work with the rest of the team, and how well the Jet does. Anyway.
Yeah, a very good combination of specials here from Violet, as they're now going to be the ones to properly set up for their own lockout here, as they're now away from those penalty points and are looking to just close that lead as long as they can. Tactical or online to be able to go on the defensive here. 2 down from Violet means that A&M has the opportunity here to go in, but not without losing 2 of their own. It's a even playing field here from both sides, but jump-ins from Violet does mean that they're able to just contest the zone once again and prevent any flippage from happening. A&M down a player once again, but they have their own tactical at the ready here, so they're looking to try and use this offensively as best they can, and those points are still ticking away. The thing I was going to say here is that Violet is good at the patient game. If they win it out, they can definitely run away with this game here. They might be running away with only 20 ticks remaining.
And just like the previous games, it's going to be decided within the last few. But it's now 2 minutes remaining, and Violet needs to have something here. But there is something for Texas A&M, and it's scary. It's scary that position they were in earlier because of how well they were doing. And that's something you got to be considering here, especially with this Carbon Roller going very aggressively towards the other side here. They have to keep playing alongside their Carbon Roller. It's almost like they're expecting that one player to control the entire offense. It needs to be a team effort. Otherwise, they'll lose sight of what they're doing here. So they need to just keep it together. As long as they can hold it together, as they're doing now with this Headed and a Carbon Roller, both working on a Jet here. As long as they can keep that together, they should be able to lock this out. And we'll find out very soon here.
Yeah, that inkjet's very crucial for their game plan here from HSK, but with a few only points remaining, lead's definitely gonna get swapped here. Potentially the game can be won here if they don't get paid enough, but they do manage to flip it and contest it, but there's only the puzzle remaining, which means A&M still takes the game off here, and they're still alive in this set.
And again, here's another game that was decided within the last minute, because Splatoon is a weird game and just allows anything to happen within the last 2 minutes of the game to dictate the whole thing. So now we're at 3-2. HSK Violet's still on match point, but Texas A&M is starting to figure out why they brought the Carbon Roller here, and it's because they need everything to work so well with it. I was seeing this last like 30 seconds in the match. You might even see it here, but actually this is Violet, what we're going to see real soon here. No, this is Maroon. This is Maroon. So we see this jet working alongside a Carbon Roller, and that is what I want to see with this Carbon Roller. Texas A&M knows what they can do with this Carbon. They're backing it up now. This is why they brought out this stringer and head it. And you actually see them working with the Tetris here. As long as they can keep doing that, their offense will go as fast as the Carbon can. And this is why this last minute worked out so well for TAMU Maroon.
Yeah, most definitely. It's very much of just being able to enable your Carbon Roller as best you can, using whatever tools you have to enable your Carbon Roller as best you can. And it actually worked out for them here at the very end. And it was a very close game from A&M, and I'm pretty sure they don't want the next game to go that close if they want to win this set here. But man, oh man, that you gotta be a bit tense after that last one. HSK Violet almost stealing away that victory from there. It's such a picture-perfect journey this set's been going so far. Storybook journey this set's been going on so far. But now, game number 6, Tower Control Inkblot Art Academy, the tried and true for the competitive scene, where everything eventually comes back and down to.
Yep, the number one choice among counterpickers all over the world. It's Inkblot Art Academy. It is Tower Control, actually. The one I see the mode I see counterpicked with this map the most, but it's Tower Control. If Humpback was any indication, this is a boring map. This is a boring mode by default. However, I think Inkblot is better for this anyway, and honestly better for how HSK Violet was playing in that first Tower Control match in Humpback, because they were playing very patiently. They knew that as long as they can get that first pick or first push, get it all the way up to like 20-10 remaining, all you do is sit back, play patiently, and everything else will fall in place. If HSK Violet can find that same rhythm here, they will be able to close out the set. But Texas A&M has the Carbon Roller, and this is the weapon that pokes through plat, that pokes up the bats. As long as you enable that Carbon Roller, you're golden. You're probably looking at Game 7.
Yeah, no, this Carbon Roller can be an absolute demon here on this map if you can enable them properly. And so it's up to HSK Violet to be properly prepared to how this Carbon Roller might be able to be just flaking through bats or playing under these ledges. There's a lot of good angles for the Carbon Roller just to be an annoying little rat in. And man, oh man, it's just going to be a very interesting thing to see as we head into game number 6, I'm sorry.
Game 6, and we don't see any major changes. I think actually Violet coming out with the Sorella 10, which we saw earlier. We saw the shot actually coming out as well. No major changes from TAMU Maroon, which is fair. You still want to enable it. You actually have the Tri-Strike now coming in from the T-Tech, but what that T-Tech does is at least try to help out that Carbon Roller a little bit more. I would have liked to see the Tetris stay out just so you have something with more mobility. Keep HSK Violet on their toes, but HSK Violet getting straight to work here. They have the comp, they have the work here, they have someone working with this with the Sorella umbrella, and it seems to be working out pretty well for them as they head towards the second checkpoint.
And this is when things start to get a little bit scary. That second checkpoint, once the tower gets past that, it becomes a very snowball into an avalanche scenario. 2 now for HSK as they're still pushing forward. No one's able to finally get that umbrella off of the tower as the tower does get past that second checkpoint. A crucial thing in this game here, as these checkpoints are very important to keep a hold of and push through. And now A&M is going to be the one to be riding this tower to just at least reset it at the very least as they get ready for their own push, using Tri-Strikes to be the ones to entry for that. That Tri-Strike's getting shut down though!
Oh my goodness, this is going to be the key for TAMU. what can you do with this carbon roller? I talked about it before the game. We're going to see how it works now. But HSK Violet starting to get on top of things here to get out the carbon roller. They have this Nautilus. They can at least push with some range. We're going to let the Otter there, Avocado from HSK Violet, do the rest of the dirty work there. And that's working out pretty well too. If they have their own coordination here, if they have the special pair that they can look for, just as TAMU Maroon does, that's still enough to get that big push you're looking for. You do have a decent push here at 40 remaining, but you want to go even further if you want to secure something, and we're starting to see some of that now.
Yeah, this is when that snowball into avalanche really starts building up here. Violet's not wanting to let go of this pressure at all, as A&M struggling to just fight back against these fights, being popped left and right. The Killer Whale from A&M, the Inkstorm from, and the Waybreaker from Violet means that they're still gonna be able to maintain control here on this side. But the Carbon Roller comes in out of nowhere and shuts down the Tower Control, the Tower Rider. As 2 goes down for Violet, means that they're gonna be unfortunately stopped here before any more damage can be done. A&M now is sitting in a pretty good position as they're trying to fish out the remaining members from their side, trying to get these enemies out of their hair, but not without going a 1-for-1 trade at the end here.
Yeah, that carbon roller is too scary for you not to keep an eye on it, and that's what Violet found out there. That's what Gabe Prince, the E-leader main from Violet, found out during an altercation. They do actually have a good push here, 29 remaining, and they're still keeping the tower in enemy territory. So this is still good for Violet. Don't get us wrong, but TAMU Maroon does have that capability to just poke in, send a carbon roller in, and honestly, if that carbon roller comes back, you still have that pick there. You still have the rest of Maroon to look back towards. So this is still something that Maroon can look forward to. But when you're 2 players down like this, maybe not. You're looking at this leader who's doing so well here.
Yeah, no, touching that 3rd checkpoint really could be a death sentence here if things aren't. If your specials are properly rotated here. That 3rd checkpoint is gone. Tri-Tricks are used from A&M a little bit too late. The damage already done. Only 9 points remaining from Violet, and they do go 2 players down as A&M retakes this tower here. But like I said, the damage has already been done. 1 minute 30 seconds remaining. TAMU Maroon has a mountain to climb if they want to try and win this game and stay alive in the set for a little bit longer. Technicolor being used, but only being used on this edit here before it got unfortunately broken down way too fast.
Yeah, it's scary there with that what you need to use with the specialists, get everyone on one side, because that's only going to work out so well if you can get a clear shot at 2 people on the other opposing team. Otherwise, you just end up wasting a few shots on it. So all of a sudden here, TAMU Maroon had a perfect push going, and they're actually doing really well, moving their players ahead, but HSK Violet able to take advantage of this one and still holding on to the lead. They know they don't have to touch the tower here, and with 40 seconds to go, they know Maroon has to take more risks. They have to be more risk-taking here. Or do more risk-taking here.
And taking risks may not be what they kind of want to be seeing here. HSK Violet did go 2 down, but A&M was down 3, so it's a little bit of an unfair trade from one side, but it's still just anyone's game here. 20 seconds remaining. We might head into overtime with depending on how these tri-strikes are used, but no, 2 down for A&M means HSK is going to be able to hold on to mid, and with the wipeout, I believe that's going to be game, set, and match with this game. 7 seconds remaining. A&M has to make a run for it for this tower, but they do get 2 important picks. What should have been game set of that is not done yet as we head into overtime.
Squishy's the only one on the tower. Squishy's the only one on the tower. Can Squishy hold it off back towards? And that could be enough for TAMU Maroon, but HSK Violet has 2 players down. There's another one going down. Everyone's jumping towards the tower. Nobody able to take it. And HSK Violet earns their first win of the CCA League season, taking down Texas A&M 4-2.
What could have been such a monumental climb back from the depths of defeat was unfortunately shot down by HSK Violet here in the midst of overtime. Both these 2 teams did extraordinarily well on this set, but at the end of the day, it's HSK Violet from the University of Washington who came out on top. And man, oh man, what these 2 teams came out with today, what a show it was.
I mean, it's funny because what I was seeing the rest of the matchup is exactly what I saw from my matchup in the same spot, 3-2, and HSK Violet just gets the first push, and no matter how scary it looks at the end here, it works out because of a bomb pick. Then all of a sudden there's like a few people on tower that we end up picking off anyway. and then you win the game. The problem here is that A&M was just A&M was basically hoping that these results would, or hoping that these 3-0, these 2-and-outs would happen. And the problem there is that whenever they did have the specials, they did have the numbers advantage. They just weren't using their specials properly. I know we mentioned it at what was about under 2 minutes remaining. There was a push where they didn't use their specials maybe as efficiently as we would have wanted them to, and all of a sudden that resulted in them not being able to get the push they wanted. And HSK Violet, knowing they were at 9 remaining, said all we need to do is just wait for y'all to make the desperation play. And that's it. Game over.
Yeah, really good show by these two teams. But of course, as CCA tradition, we will be seeing the play all 70 here. So we will be moving on to Rainmaker Manta Maria. Even though the set has, even though we're seeing this game played here, do keep in mind that this game here is not being counted for anything on in terms of seeding and ruling and point scoring or whatever. This is purely out of the sportsmanship of these two teams wanting to keep playing this wonderful game we're watching here. And man, oh man, regardless of the outcome, I am still eager to see exactly how these two will be playing it out here. Manta Maria, it's such an interesting map.
Yeah, no, Manta Maria is, and it's notable the changes that was made in Splatoon 3 bringing this game into Splatoon 3 and as well during its lifespan, because now everything's wider. I mean, the court is much wider than it was earlier, and that results in this becoming more of a map that favors lockouts more, and you'll see more of it as we head into this game. But 4-2, I mean, we're playing all sevens, might as well play game 7. But with how well Violet did here, and it's funny because it seems like it was on zones only, and some people say that zones is the best place to learn fundamentals. Texas A&M had the fundamentals right there. They were working so well with this carbon roller that as long as you did it in Inkblot, and as long as you did it in these next few, and as long as you did it in the previous few matches, you could have been looking. I strongly believe they could have very well been looking at a game 7 here, where this one would count. The only problem is that HSK Violet stayed on top of that carbon roller, in and out, and sometimes that carbon roller was just too overwhelming for their own good. But most of the time, all you need to do is keep an eye on it. You have someone on it, all of a sudden you're golden. But we're gonna see what is. Oh my god.
Yes! Yes, exactly what I was hoping would happen. Is the final game of this set was just gonna be an absolute, well, let's see what silly thing we could do, and seeing nothing but bamboozlers. What's that Twitter account? Oops, the bamboozler propaganda account. They're gonna be loving this.
See, kids, back in our day, we didn't have pencils. We had bamboozlers. This is the closest thing you had to a pencil back then. And 20 Pew Pew were the people you would look up to. Anyway, we see HSK Violet go for the first push here. And I mean, there's not much to say other than there is a bamboo picking off a bamboo. And there's multiple bamboos picking off bamboos. I like the special mix. And I probably should have let you do the commentary. Already done. I took away your commentary block, dude. We're done already.
I mean, you win some, you lose some, bamboozler. The only thing I did want to add here with this funny game was just to bring up the good old days of main power up back in Splatoon 2, where if you stack that enough on bamboozler, you could get 99.99 on your shots on a 2-tap shot, meaning if they were even an inch of enemy ink, they would have died to it regardless of what happened. But bamboozler, my beloved. Mwah.
I was talking too much. I was yapping too much to the point where I didn't even notice like this push, and then all of a sudden we were all the way over here to the left side or the right side of the screen, and all of a sudden we were at there it is, KO. We're done. Wrap it up. Game over.
Oh yes, and in terms of wrapping it up, as much as I would love to sit here and chat about this set a bit longer, I do have another game I had to cast from CCA on the CCA channel right after this, so I will be trying to wrap this up here as fast as I can. So Nino, anything you would like to plug before we wrap things up?
Nino Unused at bluesky.social. Nino Unused at Twitch on the rare occasion that I do stream. And I don't really have anything to plug. Go watch CCA because there's more matches coming up, and you're gonna see Dark there anyway. So, what do you have to plug? Actually, we'll plug it now. You'll plug it again later if you want.
You'll hear it again most likely, but you can find me at SPF_ on most social medias. I am a big time commentator. You'll hear me here on Splatoon Tourney, over at CCA, on DAP Productions, even Under Pressure from time to time when the schedule allows it. I am a big time caster, so you'll hear my voice at some point in time in the future. But in the near future, actually, as we're about to raid the CCA main channel, if my voices in my head are correct about that, Mr. Falco. So with that being said and done, have yourself a good night. Don't go anywhere just yet, because there's more CCA after this game.
All right. Thank you, Dark. Thank you, Nito. Hey, always happy to have you both here on the mic and to be back live on Splatoon Tourney for some CCA action. You know, this set was really interesting because I feel like TAMU, they thrived on their Splat Zones games, but HSK Violet really dominated for every other mode, but a lot of close games, and it was really entertaining. But like you mentioned, we are going to be heading over to the CCA channel. They have a triple header going on tonight. Coming up next is going to be DRX versus PSU. PSU Blue, a Division 1 team who has been around CCA for quite some time and always has been at the top of their game. So we're going to be catching them next. But thank you again, Nito and Dark. I appreciate you all. And hey, thank you guys for watching. Next weekend, we will be live with a lot of Ludi sets. We might be live with some CCA sets. I honestly don't really know what's going to go on because it's going to be really busy. But once we do, we'll be sure to post it on our Blue Sky page. So you guys stay tuned for that. But we are going to go head over to the CCA channel right now. So thank you guys again. We will see you next time.